You are listening to Paycheck and Red.
It's definitely inappropriate.
It's not your mom and dad's podcast.
Unless your mom's into butt stuff, and your dad is too.
Just two good old boys talking about shit we're not supposed to. Fuck PC, fuck what your mama says.
We talk about it so you don't have to. So
sit back and enjoy.
You bunch of degenerates.
Three, two, one. Greetings and salutations to all my Homo sapien friends out there. This is the baddest podcast in the land. I'm Paycheck, and as always, November Boy Red.
What's up, party people? This episode is brought to you by Dollar Blaze Club. Dollar Blaze Club's got the blunt wraps and the pre-roll cones and the fucking cigarette lighters and the fucking stickers and the stash cans and all that shit. DollarBlazeClub.com. If you use CWPR25 at checkout, you could save 25% off your order. So DollarBlazeClub.com.
And everybody listening, you should take advantage of that because you may be under quarantine right now. So no need to leave the house. Just call up or pull up the internet and look up DollarBlazeClub.com and have that shit sent right to your house, okay? Do your part to help the community, okay?
Yeah, stimulate the economy.
Yes. Well, as you all know, this is an inappropriate comedy podcast. There are no rules here. The only rule that we have here is that we ask you to pick your feet up, grab your favorite drug of choice or beverage of choice. Just relax and just go on this journey with us as we talk about an assortment of weird and dumb shit.
That's it. Weird and dumb shit. That's what we are.
So, why don't you start off with some weird or dumb shit, man?
Well, for the first time in my life, and I'm 40 years old, I am quarantined to my house per state regulation.
Yeah, you are not allowed to leave the house, sir, unless you have an essential job, right? Yeah. If you have an essential job, you can leave to go to work.
Yeah. I mean, they're still allowing you to go to the grocery store, go get your pharmaceutical medications, stuff like that. But the essentials still have to go to work. The non-essentials have to stay home, practice the 6-foot social distancing rule and all that kind of shit. So,
yes, folks.
This is a game changer, man. This is the first time in my life, and probably in anybody living right now, it's the first time it's ever happened to anybody. So people are trying to make do with what they got.
Yeah. I, unfortunately, am not quarantined. I still have to go to work. I am a truck driver, and I haul paper products out of Georgia Pacific, who is one of the major paper distributors. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Georgia Pacific's huge, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's just here in the Southeast or if it's nationwide, but work is picked up over here. We're running hot and heavy with this fucking paper.
You hauling toilet paper or what?
I'm hauling pulp that can be turned into it's a raw form of paper to where you can make all kind of different shit, all kind of paper products, paper plates, toilet paper, you know what I'm saying, all kind of shit.
Oh yeah.
So I'm kind of a superhero right now. I'm kind of a big deal, you know. I'm a modest guy though, so please no superhero comments. You know what I mean?
Do you have your cape on at least?
I do. It's leopard print. I went with the untraditional cape. You know what I mean? I'm trying to send a message here.
What kind of message are you sending with a leopard print cape on?
I'm not sure. I'm still working on the message. You know what I mean? I found the cape, thought it was cool, figured I need to come up with a message.
Yeah, you definitely need to justify having a leopard print cape on, bro.
Yeah, I need to get it ASAP. Yeah, and I need to do that ASAP.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the old Corona, you know, I don't like to make light of the situation, but as you know, this is an inappropriate comedy podcast, and I'm not taking it seriously, mostly because my job where I'm at 70 hours a week. I don't have a lot of time to be around other people. You know what I mean? I'm in the truck by myself, so I'm all by myself a majority of the time anyway. So
yeah, but you've got to have felt the impact of quarantines and social distancing and all that. I mean, are you still able to go into warehouses and check in and all that shit?
No, there's been some changes. We're having to modify our living standards and how we live and how we work and how we operate. But look, I'm all about quarantine and being smart, and being productive in the ending of this virus. So I make sure I wash my hands. A lot of these shippers and receivers and port law enforcement, they don't touch my credentials anymore. I just show it to them and show them both sides. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I go about my business.
I mean, it's got to be easier for you in the truck driving industry not to have to interact with anybody physically, and you just breeze right on through. It's got to make the job a little easier, though, right?
It does, and it is. That's one of the reasons why I do it. I have a problem with authority, so being in that truck, I don't have to really deal with other people. I don't have to work beside somebody. Yeah. I have to go into shippers and receivers and deal with people, But for the most part, I'm in the truck by myself. I do have to answer to somebody, so it's not like I just get off scot-free and don't have to deal with authority, but it helps. Being a truck driver helps.
Well, yeah, I mean, as far as all you do is get in the truck, unlock and lock a trailer down. I know from talking to you every day, you usually have to go inside and check in or something, or you check in at a gate, all the time. So practicing this social distance shit has got to make the truck driving industry a little easier, because you either do it by phone call or you do it through the window. You don't hardly have any human interaction or anything like that. So, I mean, truck drivers are the unspoken heroes right now, believe it or not. I mean, as much as people don't want to accept that, if the truck drivers said fuck it and stayed at home, this country would be in turmoil right now.
In less than 2 weeks, the whole economic system will come to a screeching halt. That's fact. You're talking about fuel. You no longer have fuel for your vehicles. Food. You no longer have food. Ammunition. You no longer have it.
Right. Yeah. No shit.
Camping gear, survival gear. Those water filters, those water purifiers, the straws where you can suck water and it filters it.
Yeah, yeah.
All those stores by a truck driver.
Right. Hell yeah. Yeah, my job's not an essential part of this economic system at all. Nobody's going to go under if they don't get their house painted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it has been a positive thing in my business, because the traffic slowed way down and the freight is ridiculous.
I guarantee you.
Yeah, so it's been a positive, for the past 2 weeks. Yeah. So I'm hoping this thing sticks around for a little bit. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, somebody's got to make sacrifices for my money. You know what I mean? I can't be making all the sacrifices for my money. Right. But speaking of that, that's we don't get into politics or whatever, but that's what socialism would be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Like I like to go out and if I want to work Saturday to make a little bit of extra spending money, I like that. I like to be able to do that.
Yeah. I mean,
I like to decide how many square footage, I want to live in.
Yeah, right. I mean, being in a state that is under state quarantine, they aren't saying you have to stay in your house. I mean, you're allowed to go in the yard and play with the kids or cut your grass or, whatever. You can stand across the street and talk to your neighbor from yard to yard if you want. But, just having to stay home and not go out in public no more than I have to, for a social butterfly like myself, that hurts a little bit. You know what I mean? Because I like to go take my kids to the movies. You know what I mean? Me and the wife and the kids like to go out to eat a lot. We like to go to softball tournaments and volleyball tournaments and shit like that. And not being able to do that from a family standpoint of what, that's part of our lifestyle. You know what I mean? So we call it the madness. If we don't participate in the madness, then sitting at home twiddling your thumbs is torture.
Yeah, it's rough.
And I don't really know what to do with myself anymore. I can't go to work. You know, can't take the kids to the movies, can't go to the mall, can't go out to eat, you know, and you don't have to spend money on your children or take them places in order to spend quality time with them. And that's where I am starting to enjoy a little bit more of this, because my kids don't have a choice but to hang out with pops now. You know,
yeah.
They can't
but you can only play Uno so many times. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's not just the you know, the game time, or just being around, you know, each other for long periods of time. You know, it starts to take a toll on you after a while, because at first it's cool. You know what I mean? I'm aggravating them, picking on them, getting on their nerves, you know, goofing off on TikTok and Snapchat and all that shit. But after a while, that shit gets old, or it will start to get old. I mean, it hasn't got old yet, but after a while, that shit gets old. So you have to make up shit to do, or make up shit to occupy yourself or your children right now, because the kids have been out longer than we have. My kids have been out of school for going on 3 weeks now, so they're getting stir crazy already. I'm not yet. I'm not yet. I'm only a couple days into this shit. My kids have been at it for 3 weeks now.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah,
but it's not natural for mankind, a human being, to be quarantined like that. We're social animals,
right?
And you know, and that just goes to prove that your kids are not the most important thing in your life.
No, because I was telling my oldest still wants to. Can I go see this person? Can I go stay there? No, you sure as hell can't. You know,
Why?
They tell us to stay inside and not to go places for a reason. You know what I mean? So I grew up in the 80s as a young child. You know, I was a teenager through most of the 90s, but I was young in the 80s. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have, you know, video games up until a certain point. We didn't have computers and all this shit to keep us occupied. We had to color. We had to go outside and play hide and seek. We had to play Go Fish and Uno and spend actual face-to-face time with each other. You know what I mean? On the weekends or whatever. So we didn't have the joys of the internet or, you know, social media or video games or anything like that. So my kid, I'm bored. I don't have nothing to do. You know, my mental health is breaking down. So what? Go outside. It ain't gonna kill you. You know, you have no idea what the word bored even means. You have no clue. I mean, we're stuck at home with all the comforts of technology and air conditioning and heat and food. You know what I mean? You're not bored. You have no idea what bored means. So
yeah, imagine being quarantined when we were kids.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly my point. Imagine having to spend that FaceTime with somebody and all you got to do is color or go outside and play hide and seek or ring around the rosy or something.
Yeah, we used to build forts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a crazy world we live in.
So parents, don't give in to your kids. Keep them motherfuckers at home. We don't want to spread this shit no more than we have to.
The whole quarantine thing is weird because, okay, so you go to this restaurant, right? And it's closed because they're practicing, you know, the social distancing.
Right.
But right next door to the restaurant, they're open, and people are there.
Yeah.
Well, this is where the honor what is it called? Damn, I just had a brain fart. The honor system.
The honor system, yeah.
So right now, or before, in every state that is on total lockdown, they went through this process. It's, hey, be a good person, be a good human being, and you know, this is the honor system. Stay at home, or at least minimize contact with the outside world and a bunch of people until we can get this shit figured out.
Right.
But some of us can't do that. And we're still socializing and we're still going out. We're still doing shit to where eventually the state's going to be like, okay, well, since y'all couldn't do it yourself, be grown-ups, you know what I mean? And do as we ask, then now we're going to have to make it a law, a rule. You know what I mean? Like, you have to now.
Yep. I mean, it's one thing to have to literally be quarantined in your home. That would be excruciating to a point, you know what I mean, where you couldn't even go outside. You know, that would be bad. But they're allowing you to go outside and, you know, spend time they're encouraging you to spend time outdoors. But when they close down restaurants and only allow you to drive through to fast food restaurants, but It's all right to go to Walmart and get some groceries amongst hundreds of people. That's fine.
Yeah, I just had to do a random drug test. Well, when I got there, I was like, I left quarantine to come here.
Yeah, dude, it don't make no sense. If you're going to enforce one, enforce the other. And I made this point on social media the other day about the restaurant staying open and only using the fast food or the takeout option or whatever. That's only hurting everybody by not closing down. If you're going to close down one, close down the whole shit. You know what I mean? I don't disagree with a national lockdown for a couple weeks. I don't agree with it because I read something on social media the other day. Somebody said that the virus doesn't move, we do. So when we stay still, the virus stays still. So if we can just stay stationary for a little bit and because we're not overcapacitated by any means at any hospital anywhere, except for like New York and shit like that, where it's just running rampant. But we have enough supplies and enough know-how from these doctors to knock this shit out. If people would just stay the fuck home and not go anywhere, close everything down, let the doctors treat whoever's sick now, and, God forbid the people that die, but let them knock it out, let them get it over with. And then we can move on about our lives. The more people move around and the more they spread this shit, the longer it's going to take. I heard somebody say the other day, this could go well into next year.
Well, in China, it lasted, I think their first case was documented in, I think, November of last year. So, and they're, from what I understand, they're on the up and up now. Yeah, I'm over it. I can't wait for it to be over. I'm going to do my part. Everybody's going to do their part. Even if people don't do their part, there's still quite a bit of people doing their part. So, I mean, I see it out on the roads. I'm a truck driver. I see a big decrease in the amount of vehicles on the road. So it's working. It is happening. Not everybody's listening or whatever. So it is going to spread or whatever, but I don't think it's going to spread as fast as it did in some of the other countries, just for the simple fact that the land mass that we live on compared to everybody else. We're kind of spread out a little bit more. We don't really have a population problem to where we're living on top of people. Right. I know that some places it is tight, you know what I mean, in big cities or whatever. But if you think about like China, for example, now I've never been to China, so this is all speculation. But I'm pretty sure their population is a little more condensed and on top of each other than we are in places. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just think that I don't think it would spread as fast here as it would a smaller country where the population and the size of the continent or their country, you understand what I'm saying? Like the balance is way off.
It's the demographic. Yeah. It's you're less susceptible to catch this shit if you live out in the country, isolated in the mountains somewhere, than you would be in like a downtown, highly populated city area.
Right. Yep.
And that's pretty much where we're at. I mean, I'm in a small town of probably 2,000-3,000 people, but a hop, skip, and a jump down the street and people are living in the woods. You know what I mean? So I'm not, there's not even a confirmed case in my county yet. So, but all around me there are. So, and I work in like 3 or 4 different counties at any given day that have confirmed cases. So my job decided to, heed to the quarantine warning and shut down for a little bit. I'm not losing.
So you're over there living a good life. You probably hang out all day in your flannel pajama pants, a white T-shirt with some cigarette burns and some coffee stains, and I'm sure you got you some house slippers. You know what I mean?
All right, so I ain't gonna lie, I have slept in until about 8:30 every day. But
nice.
I get up, get dressed like normal. I mean, I do walk around the house in slippers, and I ain't gonna lie. I ain't putting my shoes on to walk around the house. Well, I do have house slippers or slides or slide-ons, slip-ons, whatever you want to call them. I mean, I'm living comfortable. I'm chilling. I'm not getting decked out like I'm going out on the town every day. You know what I mean? I've got a hoodie on and some jeans, and I'm outside.
Did you stock up on cannabis?
Of course,
You can be quarantined for a little while.
Of course, I did. Of course, I did.
Did your dealer send you an email in regards to COVID-19, and you need to, minimize? So, like, I'm sure he has some weekly buyers, some daily buyers that get a little 30-second of a gram or something like that. You know what I mean?
Well, I prefer to call him my
Steve.
No, no, I prefer to call him like a pharmacist. Dealers just too taboo, man.
Yeah, that's kind of like 80s.
Right. I mean, I got enough to last me. I'm comfortable. I'm good.
Yeah. So, so what do you normally buy, and how long does it last?
I buy like an eighth to a quarter most of the time, depending on what it is. Because some of it I don't like, some of it doesn't give me the high that I like, so I'll just get a little bit of it to tide me over. But if it's really good and I like it and I like the way it tastes, I'll buy a quarter of it. So, but I can usually make a quarter last a week maybe.
Well, what are you into? Indica, sativa?
At this given moment, being quarantined, I'm more of an indica kind of guy. But if I'm working and I got shit to do, I got to be productive, I'm more of a sativa kind of guy. But right now I'm smoking on an indica. So
how do you smoke it? What's your preference? Do you use an apparatus? You a joint guy?
It's either.
Are you a wax guy?
Oh no, I don't do concentrates much. I do have a cartridge that I carry in my pocket just for, convenient purposes, but I roll a joint, smoke a bowl.
What's your go-to? What do you do more of?
A bowl.
Do you carry a smoking apparatus in the vehicle with you? Never mind, don't answer that. I don't want you to incriminate yourself.
No, I would never do that. That's ignorant. That is ignorant. That's just asking to get in trouble. I'm smart. I'm a functioning member of society. You know what I mean? I'm an adult. I don't ride around. I don't ride dirty like that. That's stupid.
Yeah, you're somebody's dad, for crying out loud.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, the gyms are closed. That sucks. I'm having a hard time with life right now, figuring out. I'm not a stagnant kind of guy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's hard for me to sit still and just sit on the couch. I like doing things.
Mm-hmm. That's me, dude. I'm not gonna be able to sit here for too long. I'm gonna have to go outside and cut my grass with a pair of scissors or something to make the day go. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna be looking for shit to do eventually. But I can imagine you go to the damn gym and you do your little jiu-jitsu MMA stuff like every day, don't you?
Yeah, it sucks, man. Right now we're on like some virtual training. It's great, and I appreciate it, and it helps because I'm learning new stuff, but it's just I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I miss the people. I miss the people that I roll with, that I spar with. Yeah. They're all practicing social distancing too. I even put the word out trying to see if somebody's got some mats that I can get a good roll in, and because I just got my first stripe, and I'm hyped up about it. I want to learn more. I want to get another stripe. I want to get a new belt, all that good shit. But it's like we're in fucking limbo right now. Can't hardly spend any money, even if we wanted to, just because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen to the economic system.
I bet everybody in your house knows what a rear naked choke is, don't they?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
And that's the tough thing, for my daughter is that she has to record videos and send them to the professor, because she's trying to get stripes and she's trying to do all that shit too,
Wait a minute.
So
the professor?
Yeah, that's. I mean, every gym is different. Every people are different. Some prefer to be called professor. Some just prefer to be called coach.
Sensei.
I go back.
Maybe
sensei, professor, coach.
Never heard. I have never heard somebody in a mixed martial arts karate jiu-jitsu setting be called professor.
No, it's because you're more familiar with karate, or Taekwondo or something like that, which that's in a dojo. And, when you're an MMA coach and you're a coach of many different martial arts, you become a professor, and you train people. So it's just like you go to college, you have a professor in there. You got to think these dudes, this professor knows and is a black belt in many different forms of martial arts. So he's not just a coach, he's the professor. We have coaches, but we also have a professor. But he's a super humble dude, for the most part. I'll call him coach, for the most part. I think I call him coach, but he's a professor.
That's interesting because I've never heard that term used, because I thought professor was strictly designated to like college or something like that, depending on what kind of credentials they have. You know what I mean? As far as
yeah. So when you receive a black belt, and I don't know all the details or whatever, but you can become a black belt, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you well, so so my professor has red stripes on his black belt. Those, if I'm not mistaken now, I'm fairly new to this, only been doing it for about a year, but if I'm not mistaken, those red bars on his black belt mean that he's the chief instructor. He's the professor.
So what happened to the master rung of the ladder? Does he not become a master at some point and surpass professor?
I'm not sure. I know they have like a different degree black belt. So maybe maybe depending on how many red bars you have on that belt,
I would prefer to be called master than I would professor. There's more authority in master than there is professor.
Yeah, well, I like this gym because it's not that kind of setting. Guy's a super humble guy. We dab up like homeboys do, like good friends do. You know what I mean? It ain't just about each other. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
He's a good guy. He's humble. You know what I mean? He loves teaching, and he's good at it. So good at it that I just found out that he actually holds classes for his coaches on how to be a better coach.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
dude, you come across every now and then somebody that you look and be like, yep, this is the job for you. It just fits him. He's a people person. He's good with people. He's good with kids. He's a good instructor. Like you can be a master at your craft, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can teach that to somebody else.
Right. Yep. I get it. I totally get it. It's the same way. It goes with the same thing in the construction profession. If you've got somebody that says they're good at woodworking, and they are good at woodworking, but they suck talking to people, you can't teach that to somebody. Right. So even my craft, I've been painting for almost 20 years, and I'm a professional. I'm good at what I do, but me being a people person, I could teach somebody how to be good at it if they stuck with it. I can't just teach you. I've got years and time invested. I can't just teach you how to be as good as me. You know what I mean? You have to learn it. So somebody that's a natural teacher, like the guy you're talking about, I mean, that's something to say for yourself. And you can approach people like that and get them to listen to you and do the things that you ask them to do or tell them to do or whatever. So, I mean, I'd rather be somebody that could, enhance somebody else's lifestyle as far as teaching them how to do. Because they say, what's the saying? You teach a man to fish, or how's it go?
Give a man a fish, he eats for a day.
Yeah, there you go. You give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, and he eats for a lifetime. So, if you teach somebody how to do something like what you're talking about, you're teaching that person to defend themselves or discipline or whatever the scenario is, but on his own, he can't fight. He can't defend himself. He can't, interact with people. He doesn't have any discipline. So a job like you're talking about with this guy is super important. And even now, under the state that this country's in right now, his job is still relevant, because even though people can't come to his gym and take part in the lessons that he has a outlet to still reach the people without interacting with them. You know what I mean? So that's a good deal, man. Like he's still keeping people active in this time of laziness right now, because people are quarantined, sitting on the couch, streaming up all to Netflix right now. So, I mean, getting people to participate in exercise through video is a feat all in itself,
Yeah. Well, plus there's some people who are members of the gym, but they only do boxing, and maybe they're a little intimidated by the jiu-jitsu, and vice versa. Yeah. There's people in there that only do jiu-jitsu. They don't do kickboxing or wrestling or boxing, you know what I mean? So, but he does these instructional videos in great detail, in part 1, part 2, part 3, you know what I'm saying? So if and when this does blow over, if people really take advantage of what he's doing, they can kind of go into the gym when it opens back up and take boxing or whatever and feel a little more comfortable about doing it. Cause they have the basics now, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I like the one-on-one, or the physical presence. You know what I mean? I miss that. I miss the people.
Yeah,
I miss lifting.
And because we've just went down a MMA rabbit hole, I watch it. You participate in it. I used to wrestle. You train now, so. We're working on another show that we talk nothing but MMA, Johnny. We're working on intros and interviews. We kind of dipped our toes in it when we interviewed Brinson Burner a couple weeks ago. So the people need to stay tuned for that. Do we have anything else lined up, getting ready to go for that? We got any more interviews lined up?
We do, but first, be respectful, okay? He's the champ. That's what we call him, the champ. Okay.
Okay.
So,
I was being respectful. I called him Mr. Brinson Burner. I mean, how much more damn respectful do you need me to be?
Yeah. I have. We're gonna have a few female fighters come on, which is gonna be amazing because that's an interesting twist to the MMA world. Female fighters are increasing as each year passes, so that's badass. Got a couple of pro guys that are going to come on. We're gonna try to organize some events, in due time. But we're really diving in 2 feet. This new series is going to be a series. Is that what we call it?
I guess you could call it that. I mean, it's a totally separate entity from Paycheck and Red, so I guess it's its own show, I guess.
Yeah, so we're starting a new podcast.
Yeah, we're moving up in the world.
Yeah, so look for it. We're calling it The Fighting Side.
Yeah. I'd like to get Brinson on that again, and let's talk about his fight getting canceled, man.
Yeah. We had a good time talking with him. He's another humble guy that could fuck you up. There's something intriguing to me about a humble guy that if he wanted to, he could fuck you up.
Yeah, but he's real soft-spoken and timid any other time. But
no, I mean he's not. He's you can tell like his personality is good. You know what I mean? He's a good guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to gay it up none. You know what I mean? No offense. There's nothing wrong with being gay and gaying stuff up if that's what you choose to do.
I think the correct way to do that is you have to say no homo after you say it.
There you go. No homo.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got some. I know some black belts that can come on.
I thought you were gonna say some black guys. I was like, great. That's excellent.
Yeah. I mean, I know a few of those too.
I also know some black guys.
There was a time in my life where I knew more black guys than I did white guys, actually.
Right. Yeah. It's.
I grew up in a black household.
Yeah, it's good to have black friends. It's good to have. It's good to have Mexican friends. It's good to have Asian friends. But
that's what I love about this country, man. I'm able to do that. I'm that guy.
Mm-hmm. I also am that guy.
I have a friend from it's a Facebook friend, but he barely speaks English and he's a Muslim and he's from Jordan. by way of Syria. He grew up in Syria, but ran, because Syria got crazy.
Yeah.
And now he's living in Jordan. But him and I have talked about politics. We've talked about, sports, girls, clothes, music.
How do you befriend somebody that far away in that background and only know them on social media?
He friend requested me, I think.
Just randomly?
And, yeah, I think so. He's been my friend for a long time.
Did he did he call? Did he message you and ask you to extend your car's warranty, or no?
No, he was talking about he needs. He's got a lot of money, but and he's willing to share it with me.
Right.
I have to send him money first. You know what I mean? It's this big gold thing. I don't know.
Yeah. What a generous friend.
Yeah, it's something about a prince. He's got to help a prince or something.
Yeah.
But I went to look at his profile information, which I do when anybody friend requests me. Well, I don't know this guy. Who is this guy? So I go to his Facebook and I look, and it was interesting to me. Well, damn, this guy lives in Syria and, all the stuff that I just told you. And so I figured, what better way to, spread the love and, than to reach out and communicate with this guy. And it's been great. He's I don't know him. He might be on some sketchy shit. I don't know, but I have a great conversation with him.
That's strange, man. I mean, I know that's what social media is for, is to be social, and that's what it was intended for, to meet new people from all walks of life. But it's just weird in the times that we live in to just randomly friend request somebody on Facebook and just strike up decent conversation with them. It never happens. You know what I mean? Usually when you get randomly friend requested like that, they want something from you, or it's spam, or they're trying to hack your fucking account, or they're trying to get you to send money to save a Nigerian prince or some shit. You know what I mean? So it's good to know that there are people out there like that really just want to have decent conversation with somebody, or, want to interact with people in a genuine way rather than try to sell them an extended warranty for their vehicle.
Yeah. I think now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was a fitness thing. I think he's into fitness.
He's into fitness,
so I post photos of, my muscular body, and next thing I know, I got all kind of people messaging me.
Y'all are personally sending pictures of one another to each other? I mean, y'all are sending pictures
only we keep Speedos on though. They're progression photos is what they are.
Oh, is that what it is?
I compliment him on how much I can see his gains.
Do you fluff up before you send these pictures?
Huh?
Do you fluff up before you send these pictures?
Well, yeah. I mean, you don't want to send, something crazy. You know what I mean? You don't want somebody talking bad about you.
You don't want to send cold, flaccid penis pictures.
I was trying to say that word just now, and it totally bypassed me.
You don't want to send cold, flaccid penis pictures. You got to fluff up a little bit.
Yeah. But we actually have a lot of things in common.
Yeah.
So, I know, and it trips me out when I see stuff about Muslims or Mexicans, or, when we're talking about stuff that's going on in the world, we tend to group everybody into either Mexicans or Arabs, you know what I mean? And man, there's people just like me and you that live in Mexico, that live in Iraq, you know what I mean? They're just teenagers or young men or whatever, you know what I mean? That's just trying to live life, and, they like music and they like sports, and, they like going to work and, stuff like that.
Oh yeah. When you hear the word, Arab or Saudi Arabia or the Middle East or anything like that, you automatically expect these people to wear robes and turbans and stuff, but they don't. They wear jeans and band t-shirts just like we do. Or
yeah, this guy's got more swag than I have.
Damn.
He just likes my English cuss words.
English cuss words. Is his cuss words different?
Well, yeah, they're in Arab or Arabic.
I was going to say they're in Arab.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
But yeah, stay tuned for the new podcast coming out. It's called The Fighting Side. It's going to be dope if you're into fighting, MMA, street fights, backyard brawls, karate, wrestling, singlets, protective cups, everything under the sun. We're going to talk about it. Have you ever wore a cup? Do y'all wear cups in wrestling?
No.
Really?
No.
So you just have your Franks and Beans just sitting out there all plump like that?
Yeah, I mean, you had the choice to wear them, but I didn't wear one.
Looking like a damn miniature beanbag.
Yeah, it looked like I was smuggling grapes every time I put a singlet on.
Yeah, I can literally see your cock right now, sir.
Yeah. I mean, it's not I'm not self-conscious or anything like that. I don't have a problem with any of that shit. So I never had a problem with putting a singlet on with no cup. I never stuffed a sock or anything like that. So, I mean, I'm comfortable in my masculinity, and I don't have a problem whipping my junk out in front of anybody. So, having a singlet on wasn't really a big deal. And, we can get into MMA attire once we get into the show, because there's a lot of sketchy shit, a lot of uniforms that, don't leave nothing to the imagination sometimes, especially some of these female outfits. They get a little risque sometimes.
Yeah. I picture you having a big ball sack and then just a little penis sitting on top of it.
What would ever give you that idea? I mean, what would ever
I don't know. You're redheaded. You're a robust fella. You wear Crocs and shit.
So that gives you the idea that I have big balls and a small penis?
Well, I'm talking about like your big balls, and then the little penis is just sitting on it like it's a beanbag. You know what I mean? Then you got a bunch of damn red curly hair on top of it,
like a grub worm with a turtleneck on, sitting on a beanbag.
Yeah, looking like Carrot Top down there.
I manscape. Okay, I don't walk around with like this huge ass ball fro like I'm from the 70s or something.
To the skin?
I don't short clean down to the skin. I leave a little 5 o'clock shadow, if you will.
Well, just enough to tear her skin up, huh?
Yeah, like a 220 grit sandpaper almost.
Yeah, she's like, put sandpaper down there.
Yeah.
Cause a damn small fire.
That's it. Friction is an enemy when you manscape.
Yeah, but it's a good thing that you don't shave it down all the way to the skin, because you might nick it, and then next thing you know, the Rona gets in there. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure it stings.
I'm pretty sure it would if it was introduced to an open cut. I'm sure it would sting.
But for those that are listening, if y'all are new to the whole manscaping and shit, or females, if y'all shave all the way down to the skin and you have a problem with your skin breaking out, razor bumps and shit like that, is you find baby powdered Degree deodorant. It's females. It's in like a light blue deodorant. What the fuck? What is it? It's not the word jar comes to my head, but it's not a jar.
Container.
Yeah, there you go. Container. It's fucking deodorant. Okay, it's Degree. Go find it. Put that shit on there after you shave and after you get out of the shower or whatever. Put that on there, and you won't get razor bumps. Guaranteed. That's coming from your Uncle Paycheck.
You heard it here first, people. Baby powder Degree keeps razor bumps away.
That's free. You can have that. All right. Well, I mean, I'd like to hang out and bullshit with you all day, but I got shit I got to do. What's the time? What's the time frame look like?
Yeah, I'm sick of talking to you already. 45 minutes. I got shit to do.
Yeah, that ain't bad. That's about how long I can take your crazy ass. It's about 45-minute increments.
Yeah, there you go. Little spurts.
Yeah, you're interesting for about 45 minutes.
Yeah, after that you get boring.
Yeah, I've exasperated all my ginger jokes after 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think you need to come up with some new ones though, because I'm getting tired of rebutting to the same old jokes.
No problem. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
But there you have it, folks. Another inappropriate comedy podcast with your boy Paycheck. And as always, I couldn't do it without my boy Red. Stay tuned for next episode. Check us out on all the social medias. Stay tuned for the fighting side. And until next time, that's all.
make sure to check out Paycheck and Red wherever you listen to podcasts, and leave us 5 stars and a review. Follow Paycheck and Red on Facebook and Twitter at Paycheck and Red. And if you're watching the show on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification icon to stay up to date on new videos weekly. This podcast is copyright 2020 Monkey Knuckle Entertainment. All rights reserved. No reproduction or duplication of this podcast without the written consent of Monkey Knuckle Entertainment.